The advice to let go can be very misleading these days. I think most of what human beings do is a reflection of some version of avoiding or trying to change, trying to alter our uncomfortable emotions. So if we look at even some of the healthiest things that humans report to do, we can see sometimes the deepest levels of repression or avoidance in them. So if we look at things like meditation, if you're just doing mindfulness meditation where you're just holding your consciousness in your breath, trying to focus your awareness for long periods, you may increase your ability to do that. It may actually benefit your life in some way. But in terms of emotional growth, in terms of actually growing as a human being, it's not going to do that. Really, what it comes down to is for us to actually grow and change and become better, become more effective human beings at the most fundamental level. It means identifying these emotions and sensations and traumas and repressions and things in the body that we essentially have ignored, that have not been released. It's a lot of mainstream advice like let go can sort of suggest that we are to ignore something or avoid it, or, there's just some activity that we can do when it comes up that will make it instantly be removed. And it's just not the case. A lot of the advice is very vague where it says just let go of this emotion. But how? How do we do this? I'm sick of seeing hundreds of posts describing things. Sometimes we can fall into this illusion that describing is enough. That if we were to do this, then this would happen. That this is what's going on in the body, then this would happen. I want concrete, practical steps that are going to fix the problem. Why is interesting. Describing what is interesting, but it's ultimately useless. We need a how. We need an actual practical step. And that's what I wanted to share today. I prefer, instead of saying letting go, I prefer the concept of being with. I remember I watched a YouTube video a little while ago, or maybe it was Instagram, one of them, and he was talking about how to control the monkey mind. And he was saying that you've got a few different options. You can either listen to it, you can push it away, you can do all these different things, but the only thing he didn't seem to suggest is being with it. It was always some version of pushing it away, focusing on something else, focusing your attention, and he reckons that this will eventually calm it down. It just represses the problem further. Maybe we should just listen to it. It's trying to say something. A very practical step to assist in this is a type of meditation that I've devised that allows us to start to uncover and release, be with some of these things. Once our conscious attention is placed in the right places, things start to shift in ways that we never expected. So what I would suggest is setting a timer for at least 20 minutes. And then sitting down, back straight is good because you're more likely to be alert and not fall asleep. I don't care how you sit, just sit up. And just sit there for a while. A few minutes it might take. Sometimes it takes me up to 5 minutes. And I start to experience some emotions of some kind. Some thoughts come up that trigger something. The key here is to find in the body where the sensation is. It might be tension in the stomach, it might be anger around the jaw, it could be tension, some kind of knot in the heart, anxiety, it could be anywhere. Generally it's in the front of the body. Shame in the stomach. And there are generally thoughts that go with this, pictures and images and movies and words. What I want you to do is just focus on the sensation. Allow it to be as strong as it needs to be. Allow it to take over your conscious awareness. Really just be with it and allow it to do whatever it wants. Don't get in the way. Don't try to push it or move it or do anything with it. Sometimes it takes me up to about 10 minutes for me to see something change in the sensation. What will generally happen is, for example, I get sometimes some grief or some shame in the stomach, and I will just feel it's very subtle, empty type feeling in places in the stomach, and I will just be conscious of it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes go by. It's a long time. We need patience with this. It's not quick. And then after this time, it does start to change. It seems to get clearer. I seem to be able to hold it within consciousness much clearer. I seem to be able to be with it easier. It may grow, it may become bigger, more strong, it might take over you more. It might change into another emotion, anger to grief, grief to anger, shame, fear, just layers of this stuff. And then just keep being with it, and eventually something will happen. It will go away and be replaced with peace, or it will change into something else. There have been times, many times when I've done this, and not a lot happens. There are subtle changes during the session, but then sometime after it, maybe that day, maybe in the following days, things will start to come up, some grief, some shame, and it will be released. This, for me, is some very practical steps to start to develop some internal space, to start to be with yourself, be with these things that you've ignored your whole life. So try not to let go, be with these things for as long as it takes. Thanks, guys.